Hey everybody, I'm at Final Draft. As you can see, they are open. So, let's go take a look. They have redone a little bit of stuff. You need a hat. They have hats for small and mediums. But, they have extra large. But they have everything. They have everything laid out for you. So if you want to get in the hobby, it's a great time to get in the hobby because when you're quarantined at home, if you don't want to go out, you could homebrew. So homebrewing is not just beer. It's also mead. There's also wine. It's also cider. They're all different. They all have their different nuances, but they all have a nice shop. We could buy any type of bottle you need, or carboy, or adjuncts or flavoring. But it's a great time to get into the hobby, especially if you're at home. If you're someone that likes baking or cooking or any of that stuff, homebrewing falls in that line because you're just adding certain ingredients and you can make a bunch of different things. I was watching a video about baking. It's kind of funny because baking is like homebrewing, especially because you could use flour, water, yeast, sugar, butter, and you can make a bunch of different things, whether it's a bread, whether it's a cake, whether it's a souffle. And same thing with brewing. You can make a stout, you can make an IPA, you can make a session, you can make a cider. And that's the great thing about homebrewing. For those of you that live in Reno, Brewchatter is a great place to go to for all those needs. But one of the other good things is, more than just being online that they sell, is that they kind of work with you. They kind of hold your hand a little bit. So if you're new to homebrewing, check out Brewchatter. Check out your local homebrew store. For me, I did homebrewing out in my apartment on the stove, and it was interesting. I made some fun stuff. I made some good stuff. And now, since then, I've gone to using propane. I'm using electric now, and all in one system. And talking to people that have done it before makes it a whole lot easier. So let's talk to some of the people. So this is Josh and RJ. What does RJ stand for?
Robert.
Robert James?
J's random. That doesn't stand for anything.
Jose?
Probably the closest.
That is I always wondered. I was like, RJ, Robert James, Paul James. Go ahead. So RJ, go ahead. He's still working. It's still open. But at Brewchatter they have changed the layout, and I think you guys should really check it out if you want to get into homebrewing. Even if you want to start with something simple, because simple is sometimes the best place to start out with. Because if you make mistakes, it's not like you put all your pennies or all your Marlboros in one jar. I started out with ciders, and then I tried a mead. And the mead took like 2 years to taste good, and then I went from there. But that's the fun thing about homebrewing, is sometimes your mistakes are actually good mistakes. So RJ, where would you tell people to start out for homebrewing? Like, what would be a good starter kit or starter way to get into homebrewing?
It's all about making whatever you want. So you can start with ciders, you can start with IPAs, you can start with stouts.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all about just building your system around what makes sense in your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
You can do it on the stovetop. You can do it electrically with like the RoboBrew and the Brewzilla systems. Make it super easy.
It does make it super easy because you don't have to worry about catching anything on fire or overboiling or anything like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It plugs right in. You just do it right in your kitchen, and you've got 5 gallons of beer in a few hours.
Yeah, I've overboiled on the stove. It's a pretty shitty process.
It's a bit of a mess.
When you overboil on the stove, it gets a little sticky and a little messy, and it smells not the greatest. But it's homebrewing.
But it's fun, and it's part of the experience.
Yeah.
Everybody does it at least once. It's part of it.
So I mean, anybody can shop online for homebrew stuff. Why would you suggest going to a local homebrew shop?
Yeah, it's all about like. So we try to bring the local homebrew shop to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We've got YouTube with instructional stuff. We've got a blog with all kinds of instructional stuff. Or you can come in store and you can talk to one of us. You can call one of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the homebrewing community and bringing the hobby to everybody. So you're right. Anybody can shop online, but it's all about support and finding people that you trust and people that are like, okay, let's start with science. And then go from there. This is how your beers, this is what's going to make your beer, your cider, your mead, or your fermented food, whatever, actually come out the way that you want it.
Yeah. So my metaphor would be like when you go to Home Depot and you try to ask someone that works there and they don't know anything about it, it sucks. Or you have to like hunt someone down and like, can I use this light switch for this outlet? And they're like, I don't know. That's why it's always kind of nice to go to some of those, you know, some of the employees that are experts that could tell you like, you know, you shouldn't buy that. This is better. It'll work instantly. And that's kind of like what the homebrew shops I feel like are about. Because it's great if you could make an email or a phone call, but it's not instantaneous and it might not be exactly what you're holding in front of them.
Right.
So that's a great thing about going to homebrew shop, and I think you guys do a great job of it.
Thank you.
You guys do some other things besides homebrew supplies, right? Like
yeah, we do a little bit of everything. I mean, as far as fermenting goes, anyway.
Yeah. Aren't you guys doing like pickles and stuff?
Yeah, we do pickles. We do all that kind of stuff. Any fermented food. Sorry, guys.
That's all good. No, that's all good. So yeah, you guys should come down if you're interested in beer. If you want to learn about beer, you should educate yourself. If you live in the Reno area, the High Desert Brigade is a local homebrew club. A bunch of us guys and gals get together. I think that this coming Tuesday at 6:30 here at Brewchatter. We are gonna be talking about some off flavors. We're gonna be sharing some home brews. And I'd love to see you guys there. I'm not like an officer or anything like that. I'm just an enthusiast, like not a like a Reno beer enthusiast. But I like to share and I like to talk, and beer's just fun. I like wine. I like spirits. But the fun thing about beer is it could go in so many different directions. It's not just kind of this is the style. This is what everything's gonna hit. You could add your stuff to it. You could add your apricots. You could add your oak. You could add your coffee. You could add your chocolate. And that's a fun thing about going to those homebrew meetings. You get to try a little bit of everybody's stuff. I'm gonna bring my Gatorade beer. I'm gonna bring my Baker's Yeast beer. I'm gonna bring my Kavik. Kavik is a weird thing beer. I'm gonna bring some hot water because I just tried that out. Hopefully it's okay. And it's the fun thing about homebrewing is it's more about sharing and collaborating and talking and building that community. Yeah, there's competitions, but competitions are secondary. So please come down to Brewchatter on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, and show up. If you have any questions, I'll be there. So just look for me, and I'll share my knowledge that I kind of have. But I'll just share and show you around. And if you want to get into homebrewing, it's fun. It's a fun hobby that could take you down that rabbit hole, but it'd be a fun rabbit hole that you could share. It's kind of like if you're an old lady that likes to make jams, this is your jam. It's homebrewing. Okay? Look forward to seeing you guys there. Have a good one. Bye-bye.